Okay, happy Friday, everybody. Glenn Stein, Realty Executives here, broker, owner of Realty Executives in the Villages and in Ocala, Florida. Hope you're doing well. And a little bit overcast here. It's not the typical. Nobody's going to feel sorry for me. I think last time our last show last week, I put it out there for people to let us know what the temperature is. You can do that again. It is a little bit overcast, right? A little bit. Actually, maybe a better view might be this way. You can see, yep, a little overcast. Pretty great. It's actually starting to look dark. Looks like it's going to rain, but nobody's going to feel sorry for us because I think it's somewhere in the 60s. Right. So I'm not going to say anything more about that. But actually, today we're going to talk about rental property. We're going to talk about whether to rent versus buy. And so that's going to be a big thing we're going to talk about today. We're going to cover the 7-day numbers. And in fact, I'll cover the 7-day numbers first. We'll talk about the 7-day numbers in the Villages, Florida. This is on MLS. So new listings, 30 new listings in the last 7 days, which is up over the first couple of weeks of this year. We saw probably about 17, 15, 19, upper teens, now 30 new listings, which is good news. 79 active, by the way, which is a little bit more, about 7 or 8 more than what we've seen in the past. So 79 active properties, 32 closed properties this week, and 52 pending, which means still a lot of activity going on. Pretty much the same. It's been consistent over the last several months. So new listings, that's good. A handful of new listings. Pending properties, meaning demand is still there. And it's pretty much holding the course. But it tells you what's going on right now in the Villages, Florida. But the big thing I want to talk to you about is, renting. And a lot of people are thinking, okay, should I rent first? And I think there's a couple of reasons. I think there's a couple of pros. One con, and let's talk about the con in renting. One, obviously, you don't own the place and you don't get to decide what you're going to do with it. And I think there's something special about ownership. I think that's a biggie. That's a big con. But, there's several pros. And I'll tell you this. I think it's one of the things I believe in is just being really straightforward and honest that, look, if you can't find what you're looking for right now, it's not exactly what you're looking for, and you don't want to buy something you don't like, or in an area you don't want to be in a village you don't want to be in, perhaps you do rent. I think there is if you can find a rental, at least get here and then buy something down the road. You might be able to rent short term after the season, after March and April. We're going to talk about specific rentals in a minute. Or maybe you're going to maybe rent long term, for a year and then see what happens after the year. Maybe the market softens a little bit and is a little bit maybe pro buyer. That's possible. And it doesn't look that way until maybe later on this year. If interest rates go up, that's going to be interesting to see. So stay tuned for that. So another reason to rent might be that, you're just not ready. Like maybe you've got investments that you can't cash out of. Maybe you can't get financing at the moment. But that could be a con in a way because financing interest rates look like they're going to go up a little bit. But if you're not finding what you're looking for, renting could be a good idea. If you're not sure about where you're going to be, renting could be a good idea. And now let's take a look at, some of the things that are available right now. I want to give everybody an idea. Okay, long-term, short-term, short-term typically for us can be any time during the year. Typically anything under 6 months is going to be considered to be short-term. Our season for us, our short-term period right now is right in the middle of season right now. So it's typically January all the way through end of March, and sometimes gets extended through Easter, maybe middle of April. We do have some people that may stay all the way up until or even through April. The one thing we're not seeing right now, just to give you a little bit of a heads up on what we're seeing here in the Villages, we're not seeing a lot of the Canadian clients for obvious reasons, but we're still seeing a lot of traffic at open house. So some of the open house reports, which basically tells us not just everyday homeowners or people that are living here, but it tells us people that are renting as well. We're getting about anywhere between 40 and I've heard reports of 50 and even 75 people going through an open house. And of course, if you're thinking about it, let me bring it up that we're trying to be as safe as possible, of course, with masks. Don't have to do that, but we do have, in many cases, a lot of the open houses will have a mask available if you need one. And, just like always, if you don't feel safe, you shouldn't be out for sure. But just to give you an idea, I just got a report on some of the short-term possibilities. And we actually do have an availability if you're interested in a short-term rental. What's interesting is most people tend to call after hours and over the weekend, and that's usually, we're not open during the weekends, but we'll be open for at least another 45 minutes, all the way up until 5 o'clock Monday through Friday. There is one 1323 Ballesteros that's available. It's a ranch, $3,800 in March. It is available in March. Some of the other ones that we've rented out, just to give you an idea, $4,700 for a patio villa. There's a designer home that's being rented, and these are occupied, by the way. There is a designer home in the northern section of the Villages for $3,500 that's being rented. Courtyard Villa, that's $4,500 in Monarch Grove, which is down by the Turnpike, south of 44 in the newer section. That's on Reed Road. That's actually a really nice place, really nice home, completely upgraded. That is it looks like it's available in March. And then there's one that does allow pets. The other ones don't allow pets. This one is pet friendly. That's actually being rented right now in Auburn. It's a ranch for $3,700. That gives you an idea of the short term, and it fluctuates. I guess a lot of it, all these homes have, furnishings, so you can just move in. You don't have to bring furniture in the short terms. But, you're looking at, $3,500, $3,700, $3,800 is about the average. The specialty ones, maybe some of the newer ones, the one on Southern Oak, the patio villa for $4,700, which is rented, is obviously newer. And also the one on Reed, the Courtyard Villa there, $4,500, is kind of what you could expect for the newer properties. 35, 37, 38 short term is pretty much the going rate on a monthly basis during season. Sometimes you can get a little bit better deal for properties that are, obviously if it's after April, you can get a little bit better deal. If you're looking, we've had a couple of people ask for short-term rentals like in June, July, for June and July. So that's definitely a thing. So some people, if you're thinking about renting short term, let me rent something. That might be the best play you can make right now, is rent something, after March. Check with us. Our number is 352-753-7500, 352-753-7500. That's the office number. My number, if you want to text me or call me, 352-572-3796 if you have some questions about that, about renting. Or look, we obviously have a property management division, and we take care of our properties very, very well. So if you have a property you want to put into our program, we're really reasonable. I've checked with the competition. I feel like we're probably have the best rates and the best deals. We don't overcharge. We don't nickel and dime. We don't charge for a lot of things that other property management companies are charging for. So connect with me on that too. On the long-term side, so if you want to rent for 6 months or more, or a year or 2 years, we've got several. Let's see what's available right now. We have one actually looks really good. Courtyard Villa, $2,300 per month. That's on Madeira Drive. So Courtyard Villa for $2,300. That sounds like a pretty good deal to me. That doesn't allow pets. This one does, though. That is available. It's actually a townhome on Sonoma. I'm not sure what model that is. I'm not sure. I won't even tell you because I'm not sure exactly which model that is. Might be like an Amarillo or something. $2,000 a month, and that is available and does allow pets. There's one on, actually, this is another long-term. This is an incredible deal. It's actually being rented now. That's why, $1,650, to give you an idea of what the rates are. This one's an incredible deal. Patio villa for $1,300 actually allows for a dog. And then you have an unfurnished designer. So it gives you an idea of the rates. Designer rate 2,500. So Courtyard Villa 23, Designer 25. We're looking at maybe smaller ranch patio villas in a 1,650, 1,300 per month range. And of course, this is long-term housing, long-term rental as opposed to short-term. So that gives you an idea of what we're looking at. The short-term market is usually pretty brisk. This isn't the busiest we've ever been, but certainly beats last year. Last year, obviously, with COVID, 30% of about 65% of our population wasn't here during season. And I feel like it's 80% of our population is here this season. So much different population level right now. So if you have questions about, renting, should you rent, should you buy in the villages? If you're interested in putting your home in the market, let me know. I'll put you in contact with our amazing property managers. And of course, if you have questions about buying, buysellthevillages.com is our site. So happy Friday. Hope everybody has a great weekend. And of course, please subscribe. Thank you.